So, hello everybody. Very good morning to one and all present here. I, Dr. Bobby Basu, to welcome you all to this webinar. Uh, it is a regular practice, as you know, that we organize institute interface sessions where we invite experts from corporate houses to share their experience with our students. Today, I'm very happy to have amongst us two alumni members who will be speaking and taking the session. Let me talk about Ankit Majumdar first. So Ankit is an MBA in Marketing and Systems from HBS Kolkata. After that, he has also completed PG certification in Marketing and Brand Management from MICA Ahmedabad. Prior to joining HBS, Ankit was working with Big Five Telecom Private Limited as marketing manager. And during his second year of his MBA course, he got an offer letter from Confederation of Indian Industries, CII. And he was working there till 2015, where he was zonal head, Haldia. In 2015, he joined Hindustan Unilever Limited, responsible for brands like Red Label, Taj Mahal, Lipton, Brew in beverages, Quality Walls, Kisan, Nor in food section, and Pond's. He worked with brands like Pond's, Dove, Lux, Fair and Lovely, Domex, Comfort in home and personal care products. And he was looking after in the MP region of MP, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan. In fact, he launched Quality Walls in West Rajasthan in 2018-19, which was the biggest town launch of Quality Walls in Southeast Asia in last 23 years. Good work, Ankit, I must say. So a very warm welcome to Ankit. And also we have another alumnus, Mr. Sambit. He's also from 11th batch, that is 2013-15. So the session will be taken up by Ankit, and then Ankit will introduce Sambit in turn, and he will be taking the other part of the session. Right, Ankit?
That's right. That's right. He's a part of the session. This is one particular section which he's an expert in. That's why I got him in, and he does that for a living. So I thought, the students should learn from him directly, and it is a very important aspect. In fact, one of the most important aspects of the presentation today.
Okay. So today, because of some exigency issues, Director Sir could not able to join. So the session will start now. I will be requesting Ankit to take forward the session. Ankit will be speaking on the art of landing your dream marketing or sales jobs, right? So without further delay, I would request Ankit to take the deliberation.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit.
So, I was really excited about this session. I think, first of all, can I know how many people are there? Around roughly 50, 55?
Yeah.
Okay. My batchmate Raj is also here, by the way. Hello, Raj. We're starting the session. Raj does not need a job, although he's a successful businessman in Siliguri.
He's an entrepreneur. Yeah, he's an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Right.
And okay, so I think let's start with, let me tell you about Sambit a little, and then we can, so that, we don't have to do the introductions mid-session. So Sambit works in a lead generation company, and today he's gonna basically speak about how to use LinkedIn to find jobs and to find people, which is very important, and we'll understand in the sessions. Now, I would like to first of all thank Bobby ma'am for the amazing introduction, and it's, ultimately I have realized that I'm somebody who's not very good with introductions or goodbyes, but I think I do the part between the both really well. So in the first part of the topic, let me quickly share my screen with you guys. So the art of landing your dream sales and marketing job. So in order to realize, first of all, we would need to understand the demographics of the class. We need to understand what kind of people are there. So I hope all of you have your mobile phones handy, and I hope all of you have pens and papers handy. If we have to set up some rules for the session, I don't really think we need rules, but let's keep it interactive. If you have a question, please go ahead and ask that question. Okay, don't hesitate. If we want to park the question, we'll tell you that we're parking the question for later. Otherwise, we'll take up the question because we really want this to be a very interactive session. And don't think of me as some guy who has come from some corporate place and he's giving us gyan. Think of it as a conversation that's happening in our matcha, and treat it that way, please. So let's start by collecting some data. Okay, let's engage. Now, in the comments or something, can you please, respond to things that I'm saying? Also, at the same time, now this is a link. Either you can use the QR code, scan it, or use this link. I will advise use this link to go onto your mobile phone on the browser. Use the link. Here we'll take some polls to try and understand, what is the demographics of the class. I'll tell you why that is important. So once you go onto the link, this is what you will see. Let me know if this is what you're seeing. Right. So there's nobody on the link yet, guys. Can we go on the link, please?
Ankit, share the link chat now. तो सारे वहाँ पे.
I will. Wait करता हूँ. Just a second. Okay. So do you see the results coming up?
Yeah, we can see the results coming up. Yes.
Perfect. So we just have 4 votes till now. Come on, we need more participation here. And I'm sorry to intrude on your Saturday.
It's okay. Perfectly okay.
Okay. I think we'll. Okay. Perfect. A lot of engineering people till now.
Now people are coming up.
Yeah. Perfect. So now keep this link open. Okay. So you will keep getting questions on this link. There's around 6-7 questions overall in the session, and all you have to do is just vote, and we'll understand what is the demographics, and we'll go accordingly. So I see a lot of commerce students, so roughly around
46%.
Yeah, so 13-14 commerce students. I'm happy to see a lot of engineers, because that's the field that after HUL I'm working with learning technology now. So good to see a lot of engineers, because that is ideally the future of sales. We'll talk about that as well. Okay, 34 in, 50 people are there. Let's have some more participation, please. Okay, I think gives us a fair understanding, 35 votes. Most of you are from the commerce background. Right. So most of you who are from the commerce background, I hope all or most of you here have taken up marketing, either major or minor. Ma'am, if you can please confirm that.
Yeah. Most of them have taken major as marketing.
Oh, perfect. Then this is the session for you. Otherwise, I was like, okay, for commerce students, I don't know what value I can add. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. So we understand that there are more commerce students than we have similar business, science, engineering. Great.
Yeah, Ankit, let me tell you one thing, that both first year and second year students are participating in this webinar. And as you know, students from the second year only, they can take their specialization. So first year students are also there, right? Total, we have got around 65 students, as you can see from the list. Yeah.
Right. Perfect. Great. I think first year students, you still have that opportunity to do that internship and get and get a really good job. Okay, so work experience. Come on, guys. You guys are probably, most of you are millennials. Why is it taking so much time?
Yeah, you should be fast in doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 5+ years. Nice. I would like to hear from the 1 5+ years, please.
अंकित वो मैंने ही डाला यार.
Sambit. Yeah, so very good, Sambit. So 1 3 to 5 years. I think, can I please hear from somebody, from the person who is 3 to 5 years? Okay. You might have work experience, but you seem shy.
Who's that? Who has got 3 to 5 years experience? We are also not aware of. Yeah, please do respond. Yeah.
डाला होगा नहीं आ गई शायद.
Huh?
Sorry.
I thought it was me, but I guess somebody else.
Okay. 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 No problem. Most of you are freshers. So great. I think I'll talk about things that are relevant to you. People who have experience also. I mean, I will add value for you guys as well. I really hope. See, what happens in any kind of jobs these days is they're looking for some kind of an expertise or some kind of experience that you have with a similar job. So the age-old question that basically what I'm trying to say is people talk about the fact that how do I get this job? If I mean, how do I first get the job? How can I get the experience? To ideally start off with, everybody looks for experience, and so how does that work? So anyway, we'll go there. Perfect. Now, since we are going to talk about sales and marketing jobs, I believe all of you have aspirations, right? You want to head sales in some company, you want to head marketing, or you want your own successful business. So that's why now the next question is on what is your aspiration? Let us try and understand how many of you want to get into sales or marketing or brand management. Or do you just have an idea of that, I want to just get into core marketing? I was expecting this though, brand management. Okay. Quick, please.
And I would request all of you to please vote for. Yeah. It should be an interactive session, because then only you will have the interest. Yeah.
Okay. Brand management, of course. I had a similar dream.
Shubhashish, yeah, please, I would ask you to mute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ankit, please continue.
Thank you, Subhashish. So, brand management. Well, I think Sambit can vouch for this. When we were in college, this is exactly what we wanted to do as well. I always used to talk about it, of how I want to become a brand manager. The problem is that out of the 35% who have voted for brand management, I'm certain none of you actually know what happens in the background and how does one become a brand manager. Okay, so let's first start with, in terms of like the results I see is basically what is happening out there in the world as well, that not many people want to get into sales. Most of them don't really understand what's happening in marketing versus brand management. And most of them think brand management, if I am managing quality walls, that means I'm hanging out with Alia Bhatt every day. It's not the case, right? People think that it's a very glorious job, brand management, for example. Today, we're going to try and break that myth for you. Okay. Now, the idea behind this session is to, let me quickly share the presentation. Okay, before we share the presentation, there's one more question that I want you to answer. Now, in terms of success, since we are talking about getting a job, when I say landing the job, that means finding the job and then bagging the deal. We'll mostly be talking about finding the job in terms of how do I actually get on the table, and giving you information wherein you can start off with, because it's a it's not a very big session, and so to get you start off with, so that you can explore in the topics that we're going to discuss and then take it from there. I was supposed to start a timer, I forgot. I'll just a second.
Ankit, is there an option of voting via phone?
Yes, you can use the link on phone.
No, I mean, can I vote?
I'm sorry. Yes, everybody who's in the session can vote. Oh,
I'm actually, I have joined the session via the link in my phone. So I don't know
Raj,
how to
it's
do
okay.
it.
It's okay.
No, no, I really want to participate, man. There are so many questions happening. I I am feeling left out.
Okay, so Raj, this is the link. Okay, although you've missed most of the questions now,
And I
but
think this is the last question.
no, there
Is
are
it the
more
last
coming
question?
in. No, no,
Okay,
there are
okay,
more coming in, but we'll
okay.
as the session progresses. Okay, so now most of you think it is how well you network with people. Wow, that is true in a sense, but uh, let's go through the session and find out what really works. The idea behind networking, it is many people think that networking is ideally, be nice to people, get more contacts, and constantly try to keep in touch. That is okay in the college environment is possible. In the work environment, you can't just call a business associate and talk about their day, right? You need to talk business all the time. Somebody said luck. Wow, I think that's Raj. So, so yeah, maybe
As I said, I couldn't.
if if you feel so. Okay, moving on to the presentation now. We've had the little engagement activity. What will you learn today? Okay, we'll learn about marketing. Where did it all start? Because so marketing is one of those
Yeah,
subjects. Yeah.
Ankit, I would like to interrupt. Raj, please mute yourself. Raj. Yeah.
Okay. So marketing, where did it all start? This is one of the subjects very close to my heart, and I feel marketing, I mean, the definition, if you ask me, marketing is the art of engineering consent, right? So we'll get into the detail of it. How did it all start? How do you land a dream sales job? Not many of you want to do sales, but I'm afraid that is the only way to the path to a core marketing job. You cannot become a brand manager if you don't know what is happening on ground. Okay, so no matter which college you've passed out from, may it be the IIMs, may it be the best Ivy League business schools, you don't get to go on a core marketing job. The reason being, how would you take these decisions if you don't really know what's happening on ground, right? We'll get into the detail of that. Let's start with where did it all start? Now, this gentleman, his name is Edward Bernays. He's the father of public relations. He's going to be the center of our discussion today, and he is one of the most important people when it comes to marketing, because everything we know today, even though we've become it's the age of data, and we are having successful, extremely powerful AIs which are already functioning. Technology is taking over most of the aspects of our life, and yet whatever whatever ways or whatever theories or the work that Edward Bernays did set up the platform. Now, he's a very controversial character, so I would request you all to please write down his name. I will also share some documentary that you can see to actually hear about him. Let's talk about why is he significant. First of all, you might not have heard about him, but you might have heard about him, Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology, right? Now, Sigmund Freud and Mr. Bernays are related. When Sigmund Freud's Edward Bernays is the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Now, just a second. Yeah. So Sigmund Freud, I don't know how many of you know the work that Freud has done, or why is he actually the father of psychology. So back in the day, 100 years ago, around in the 19th century, Sigmund Freud was based out of Vienna in Austria, and although at that time he was seen more as a villain than a hero, and now when you look back at it, everybody has accepted this man who was almost considered to be a villain back in the day. Even in Vienna, in his own town, people used to hate him. He's the father of psychology now. So what did he believe? Why was he controversial, first of all? Okay, so we'll talk about how society changed and why did marketing come up. Freud had the idea that hidden inside all human beings are dangerous instinctual drives, right? So basically what he said is that if we don't control people, if we don't manipulate people and, you know, lead them into believing something or propagate information that can help them have a decent life, humans are capable of doing the heinous most things. He even in some of his lectures mentioned how we have certain barriers which stop these dangerous instinctual drives that we have, right? But that will not survive for long, according to him, right? So he thought people are dangerous if are not manipulated. He came up with something called psychoanalysis, right? Wherein Freud always used to talk about, although he was, you know, talking about a lot of people, he would always say that, you know, individualism is extremely important. So if you see now these days, everything is about the self. Okay, so this is in fact called the century of self, right? The reason why that happens is because, I don't know if you might have noticed or do you know about this, but if you speak to people from the older generation, they're kind of, it was more of a social living in terms of they did not think of their individual desires to be of any value. Okay, life 100 years ago was basically whatever people needed was whatever people bought was because of a need that they have. That is why if you see old advertisements versus new advertisements, you will find out that in the old advertisements you have them talking about that, oh, this is this particular compound, which is, it is very good for you, this is functionally, this is what the product does, and they will talk about the USPs of the product. However, if you see branding now for everybody who wants to become a brand manager, how has brand management changed? If you see branding now, we are not talking about the idea of the product. It is about what you will get if you have the product, in terms of, you know, here is a good cosmetic product. It will make you look beautiful. Here is a toothpaste. If your teeth looks good and shiny, you look confident, you look good, you will become successful. You know, Fair and Lovely. I worked with that brand, Fair and Lovely, and although so many people talk about Fair and Lovely and say that you know, it is something which is I mean, people often say that how can you sell a product like this in a country like India? The kaise gore ho jayenge. I mean, that's wrong. A lot of people say. However,
So
yeah.
So I just wanted to share something like here Ayush Gupta from second year.
Yes,
Actually, I went through the Fair and Lovely. I was watching a video where they showed that it's becoming quite racist. While someone, a Negro, just went to a shopping mall and then he checked out Fair and Lovely in an Indian market shopping mall. I think it was one of the biggest shopping malls, and he came across one of this Fair and Lovely product, and he was like, why are they promoting Fair and Lovely where this can turn you white? So
Absolutely.
and yeah,
Absolutely.
so
It's a very bad product.
right,
But then,
exactly.
yeah. Anything else you want to share on that?
No.
See, Unilever has been in a lot of such problems, wherein not just in India, abroad as well, this has happened. Like one of the cases of 2018 with the brand Dove. Okay, there was a huge international outroar that happened. What happened in that was, so the ad is, you can find it on YouTube. It's basically they've shown women of all ethnicities, right? So like a woman opens her t-shirt and she's another woman, then that woman opens her t-shirt, another woman, and like that they have 5-6 ethnicities. The problem was with that ad was that the black woman opens her t-shirt and it's a white woman. So just because of that much thing, there was an international outrage. But India is different. First of all, let me tell you all, I am completely against any such products. Okay, so I am not somebody who propagates Fair and Lovely. But what is happening on ground is very surprising. So in my stint in Chhattisgarh, so I worked with HUL in Chhattisgarh, then I did MP East Chhattisgarh, and I did West Rajasthan for them, and various other geographies. But majorly, these were the geographies that I owned. And home and personal care products was a huge part of it. I have literally been called for dinners so that I can give those distributors or those wholesalers or retailers, a few cartons of Fair and Lovely. So Fair and Lovely, the most. So okay, another important information for you guys. HUL, the one of the biggest FMCGs in the world, number 2 in the world, number 1 in India. What do you think is the most successful product? Where do you think they make their most revenue? Anybody who wants to take this question? Come on. Anyone who wants to take this question, please? Which is the most successful product of HUL according to you? What product do they make more money on?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, this is Rahul Singh from India.
Hi, Rahul. Please.
Yes, hello, sir. Sir, I Surf Excel and Wheel.
Surf Excel and
Wheel.
Wheel.
The
Okay.
major competitors being PNG in Tide and ADM,
Mhm.
but Surf Excel and
Well, not really, but you were close. The most selling products, okay, is the smaller packs of all of these products. That includes 5 rupees, like 5 rupees Lux, 5 rupees Lifebuoy, 7 rupees, what do you say, Fair and Lovely, Clinic Plus, 50 paisa, okay? Okay, there's another very weird thing that these guys do with the pricing, okay? If you see Clinic Plus or any sachet shampoo is way cheaper than the bottled version of it, right? So for example, a Clinic Plus for 50 paisa, you get around 5.5 mls of Clinic Plus. So you pay 50 paisa for 5.5 mls. But for, I think, 50 ml, it's 45 rupees, which does not make sense. But they have created their whole business. Most of the revenue are these cheap products, including, yes, Surf Excel, but the 10 rupees pouch. They tried the 2 rupees pouch, which was not really successful because the packaging cost was very high, and it was just not possible. But yeah, I think good discussion. Let's move on to Bernays and why Bernays is important. Now, what Bernays did was he showed American corporations that they can make people want things they did not need by linking mass-produced good to their unconscious desires. What do I mean? This seems like something which is complicated, but let's break it down, okay? So Edward Bernays, how did he, first of all, come onto the scene? What he did was, he was a press agent for a very famous opera singer at the time. This I'm talking around early 1900s. Then there was the World War started, around 1914. I think Austria and Hungary came together, and anyway, something happened, and then America came in, and America said that we are going into war against Austria and Hungary. At that time, America started this press, what do you say, like a department which answers to the press, and Bernays was given the responsibility to ensure that the press gets the information which the government is giving. Okay. What happened is, by the end of the war, this guy was a hero, the president of America, because Bernays did a really good job. He did such a great job that once the war ended in 1926, there was a Paris Peace Conference, wherein when they went to France. He accompanied the president of America. I think his name was Woodrow Wilson. So Woodrow Wilson was made a hero because they said that Wilson is a liberator of the people, because the idea of America in the war was that we are going to ensure that, so Europe at that time, there were a lot of regimes going on in Europe, various places. He said, we are coming into the war, we're going to win the war, and we're going to make sure that these regimes don't come back, and we'll instill democracy in Europe. Okay, so everybody was like, Woodrow is a hero, and he liberates people, and he's the man who's going to create a new world in which the individual would be free. The individual was not free till then. In fact, women did not even have the rights to vote till then. Now, when Bernays went to France, the reception they got was insane. There were, millions of people who had come to see the president of America, who's going to be the leader of the new free world. That's where the phrase leader of the free world or the free world came in. And till today, they hold that position. Is because of that campaign that Bernays ran. Then Bernays thought that, why, I mean, if I'm using this particular propaganda in the political background, once the war is over, can I not sell products? Use the same idea, but here, rather than selling, a person, I can link goods to the desires or unconscious desires of the people, right? Because the unconscious desires, you see, are things like, like for example, in India, like the example with Fair and Lovely that I gave you, that the sales are insane. One of the months, in fact, Fair and Lovely, I wanted to do an experiment because I usually do these things. I ordered 1 extra ton of Fair and Lovely, 1,000 kilograms of Fair and Lovely for the Chhattisgarh market, just to see that if there is ample supply of Fair and Lovely, how many days would it take for me to sell it? It was gone in the first 2 days. 1 ton of Fair and Lovely, wherein I was probably doing 200, 300 kgs. That's it for the entire month, previous months. And here 1 ton just went away because the unconscious desire of people was to become more beautiful. And the idea attached to it as fair people are more beautiful. This has been a prejudice forever now, right? So if you're a brand manager, or if you want to become a brand manager, it is absolutely important to understand the psychology of people. That is the only way you can actually become a successful marketer. But moving on with Mr. Bernays, this is one of the the Torches of Freedom, one of the most successful PR campaigns ever run. So when Bernays thought about that, let me try whatever my uncle created, let me try and use that and sell people products, sell people ideas, make better relations for corporations, make better relations for politicians eventually. The first PR campaign in the world is called the Torches of Freedom, wherein the American Tobacco Corporation came to Edward Bernays and said, Mr. Bernays, only men smoke, women don't smoke. There's a whole taboo in the society which men have created that, women should not smoke. So Bernays realized that, okay, that means there is a whole half market who's not smoking. If women start smoking, then, the sales which have been saturated suddenly could go up, right? Now, at the time, there were a lot of movements going on since women were not allowed to vote. There were these group of women. So the feminism movement had not started by then, but there were these women who had come out who were protesting against the government. They wanted voting rights. So there was this outrage already boiling, right? And with the war, when the men went for the war, the women took over, and they They were working in the factories, and they had taken over the entire. They had supported the country when most needed. These women who were for oppressed for generations came in and took charge, and these women were not ready to they were not ready to give up soon. Bernays realized this. What he did was that he
persuaded
okay, by the way, at the time there was no concept of models. Okay, there was no concept of like models that we have now. He just got some beautiful women, okay, from the upper class. So at that time, since there were no models, there were women who used to dress really well and look very beautiful. Basically, I mean, I don't remember the exact word what they were called, but every woman, debutantes, yes. So debutante is basically an upper class young woman making her first appearance in fashionable society, right? So there was no model. So there were these women who are from the upper class who are making their debut in a fashionable society. So what he did was he asked those women to hide some cigarettes, and in the national parade that they had, he said, when I signal, you got to light the cigarettes. And that's exactly what the women did. They lit their cigarettes, and the very next day in the newspaper and everywhere comes the torches of freedom. Edward Bernays had told the entire press that some suffragettes are basically the women who were seeking the right to vote. They were planning to protest by lighting up what they call torches of freedom. So now these cigarettes became torches of freedom. And if you see, even the Statue of Liberty, she's holding a torch, right? That's a symbol of liberty. What he had done is he had made cigarettes socially acceptable with a single symbolic act. What he created was the idea that if a woman smokes, it made her more powerful and independent. And then the whole campaign started. If you see Lucky Strike, this is one of the ads on your left, where they said that 5 years from now, if you smoke, you'll become thinner. Then they're talking about, since Lucky Strike was one of the biggest brands, there's Philip Morris who came in and he said, hey, don't just test one brand, you alone. You need to compare all of them. And this campaign is still prevalent. You see signs in society of this even till now. It is. He then realized that it was possible to persuade people to behave irrationally if you link products to their emotional desires and feelings. What were the emotional desires and feelings in this case for the women? It was to give it back to the man and hold that place in society. He linked the product to that desire, and here we are today. The campaign still runs strong. Now, what is this? This is the American breakfast, right? Everybody knows bacon and eggs is an American breakfast. Well, this was just a PR stunt by Bernays again, wherein a bacon company wanted to, make bacon the hottest thing in the scene back then. So what Bernays did was he wrote to 20,000 doctors and he asked them one simple question: is a heavy breakfast good or bad? 20,000 doctors, of course, replied that the heavy breakfast is good. Then he ran a campaign which said that 20,000 doctors unanimously say that a heavy breakfast is good, so eat bacon and eggs. And till date, the American breakfast is bacon and eggs. And if you see the popularity bacon has got. So the idea behind Edward Bernays, he has basically taken it to the next level. Everything from fashion shows, from brand endorsements, he would make actors wear clothes of brands he represented and tell them that how much they like the brand. And so that whole idea of advertising this thing was not there before. In fact, he has made such a difference that for a normal person to buy shares was not a thing. It was Edward Bernays who said, hey, regular folks should buy shares too. And here we have a share market which is practically running the world, right? Then another most important thing he did, I mean, one of the worst things he did, ideally, politicians were not popular back in the day, right? Politicians had no, I mean, they had a public life, but not like what actors or musicians did. They had a very different kind of a public life, politicians. What he did was, at that time, I think Woodrow Wilson was a president, and Woodrow Wilson was basically, the press in America was started to call him an idiot, right? And this is exactly it was socially acceptable to call people idiots back then. So he was called an idiot, the president of America. The media was giving him crazy slack. What Bernays did was, he took 34 celebrities, went to the White House. He made them stand in one queue. The president came in. He said, "Hey, what's your name?" "Ali Jolson." "Mr. President, meet Ali Jolson." And the newspapers next day write, "Famous friends visit the president." Now here are millions of people who really love these actors and these musicians and these performers. And the news is that they are friends with the president. So the president must be a nice guy, must be a good guy. Why else would this person hang out with them? So this is just a few of the examples. There is a documentary called The Century of Self. I would request you to kindly see that and learn more about this gentleman, because the work that he has done, and this is me saying, I haven't yet found anybody who has disagreed with this statement. But Edward Bernays, although is not very popular, not many people speak about him, has single-handedly changed the world. The idea of freedom, the idea of consumerism, the idea of self was not there before. So please research about him. For everybody who wants to go to brand marketing, even if you want to go to sales, eventually you might want to go to core marketing as well. You need to know about this man and the thing that he did, because that will give you the basics of core marketing, of what core marketing is. Core marketing is not a regular, a smart ad campaign. No, that's not core marketing. Branding is not about that, let's get a big celebrity and isko is tarike se kar lete hain, aisa ad banayenge, it will be great. It does not work that way. It is a relentless pursuit. You need to know your demography. You need to know what your target market is, right? For example, when I was working with Quality Walls, Magnum is a very popular, one of the biggest ice cream brands in the world, in fact. The Magnum, although it does not really sell a lot in India, but that is an adult ice cream, right? That's why if you see the advertisements are way different than of other products. Like, there are a lot of colorful products also that they had come in with, which was mainly targeted to children. One of the reasons why Magnum does not do well in India, I feel, is because of that it's an adult. They share it as they market it as an adult ice cream. I don't think that should happen. If you start marketing as a children's ice cream, you might get more sale in India, where the idea of ice cream yet has not reached adults. Why do I say that? Is because the mithai market is much bigger, right? And what do adults consume more? You guys watch a lot of Hollywood, I'm sure. You see people sit with their tubs when they break up and eat ice cream, right? The sale of tubs in India is next to nothing, right? So it was, I did around $1 million in sales in the first year, and it was not even 2% of my total sales. People are not buying that. That means more adults are not eating it. So, okay, just to give you an idea. Philip Kotler talks about how marketing takes a day to learn, and everybody thinks that, oh, marketing, I can do it, and it's just about being creative, but it actually takes a lifetime to master. The reason being, you need to start looking at people in groups. Okay, you cannot see people as individuals. Now, moving on to, okay, it is impossible to excel in marketing without experience in sales. In fact, I would even go to the point and say that it is impossible to get a core marketing job in a decent organization without experience in sales, right? How does that work? How do you get into it? We'll get into the details of sales, what all you need to know about, so that if you land an interview, we'll tell you how to find such interviews, and how to actually get on the table. And then all the gyan and things that I spoke about till now, that is important. Research on that. Those are the things that you need to talk about. Okay, be critical about these things. I am sorry for everybody who was thinking that, who wanted to become brand managers. You can do that. It takes time, but it has to go through sales. In HUL, you need a minimum of 3 years to get a promotion from any stage to any stage, ideally from any designation to any designation. Some people do it in 1.5 2 years, which is rare, but it ideally takes 3 years. So whichever position, since most of you are freshers, as we understood, it will take you somewhere around 6 to 10 years, ideally. Okay, how do we go ahead with that? We'll talk about it. But don't be disheartened. If you have questions regards to this, I'm open to questions. Any questions so far? People, branding, so many people were there, branding.
Ankit, I will suggest that you continue with the session, and
Sure.
at the end we will have the question answer session.
We'll have a Q&A.
Right?
I was just,
Because
yeah.
we have got time till 1 o'clock. So 12:20 it's around. So we will have the session first, followed by question answer session, right?
Okay, perfect. Let's do that.
Yes.
Okay. Although there is hope in marketing, what is the future of marketing? You see, I gave you examples on what all is happening, right? And what has happened. How did it change the world? How did actually Edward Bernays make a difference? It was data. He was doing psychoanalysis of target customers, trying to understand what is it, which desire is the one that I can tap with the product, right? Now, in the future, we have analytics, AI, marketing automation. What is analytics? Anybody here who wants to answer that? What is analytics? Guys, anybody? Come on, how many people there? Over 70 people. There's not even one person. Okay, anyway. What is analytics is, if as a human being, I want to make a decision on buying a mobile phone, for example, okay, I will, go to various websites, see comparisons, see what's popular, what are the features in that, and I'll collect data points, right? So I'll probably read about 100 things and then decide on which phone do I want, correct? Now let's amplify that exercise. You guys, all of you use YouTube, right? YouTube knows at least 70,000 things about you. My question is, do you know 70,000 things about yourself? What analytics does is, okay, so what all does YouTube know, for example? I think, okay, a better example to understand analytics would be, first of all, understanding till what extent are they collecting data, right? So you're taking an Uber from, say you're, it's early in the morning, you are late, you've missed your bus, you need to take an Uber to go to college, correct? Now, the Uber app at that time, say, since it's morning time, there'll be surge pricing. But how is surge pricing calculated? My sister who works with PwC actually worked on this particular analytics project. They check where are you going. Okay, so they know exactly that, okay, this is the time that you go to college, so this is your home now, and then you've chosen that location. they will check how much battery do you have in your phone. So say, for example, if it's late in the night and it's getting really late, you don't have a lot of battery, you need to go back home, and many more factors, thousands of more factors, and then come up with a price that you will be ready to pay. That is how surge pricing is calculated. YouTube will keep you engaged. Lot of you, I'm sure, most of you, don't you feel that the scrolling thing, if you see, even in Instagram or Facebook, if you see when you are scrolling mindlessly, because it's like a lottery, right? You feel you will get something out of there. And this analytics knows more than 70,000 things, which is, by the way, I'm not exaggerating it. If anything, I am limiting it. They might know more. They might know millions of things about you. I say 70,000 is because earlier in the past there was a case, Cambridge Analytica got caught, and where we understood that this is how much they are collecting. But analytics can take a lot of information, a lot of data about one thing, and then predict, right? That's what we can do as well. If we, for example, IPL or any cricket match, a lot of people who are interested in it would say that, oh, today Hardik Pandya is going to bat well because he's in a good form. How do you know that? Because you've seen the previous games, he's performed well, he's in a good streak, he will play well. In sports, in analytics, using analytics, Japan, for example, is right now one of the top teams in ice hockey, which is strange, isn't it? How is Japan one of the top teams? I mean, they were never in the scene. But there's this company called PINS, P-I-N-S, PINS, which does sports analytics. They have a system which can real-time tell that which player, wherever the ball is passed, what is going to be the outcome of the game. And they can say, okay, where do you need to pass the game? Even the selection of their players, the training of their players, there are thousands of sensors that they've placed in their playground. They collect a lot of information, and everything is being done by this system, which may or may not be artificial intelligence. AI is a term which people throw around, very, very, very normally, which is not right. It takes a lot of time to get predictive analytics and eventually have an intelligence. So, for example, one of the most successful AIs, you should know this, because in the future, you never know, most of us would be actually working in technology, right? There's this AI right now called GPT-3, which was launched by Elon Musk. Let me write it down for you here. This is the most powerful AI that is present at the moment, which has around 75 trillion data points, I think. It can write songs. It can, write poems, write stories. You can tell it to make a mobile app, say a social mobile app, which I need some e-commerce, give me a shopping cart as well and everything, and it will make the application for you. That's how powerful that is. Do you think it will not be used in marketing? So right now is the time for you to explore. Don't limit yourself. I understand you might feel that, what is this guy talking about? Like, I am doing MBA here. How does he expect me to get into analytics and AI and all those new things? Start with marketing automation. See what all is happening in that space, right? You need to know about this, because this is the future. This is how marketing is going to happen. Do you think that in HUL, the brand manager takes a decision? For example, Magnum or Lifebuoy for that matter. All of the ads, the company hires one top individual. They have their data ready. They make the advertisements. They make one idea, and then various, the same idea, frame by frame, is copied in various geographies. So if you have seen the famous Lifebuoy ad of Chumki, you can look it up. Chumki Lifebuoy ad. You can look it up. This particular ad, very beautiful, made made lot of business for HUL. In fact, even recently, one of their ads last year, probably, "Gaon mein shower laga diya." that advertisement. A lot of you might have seen that. They just create these ideas. The same ad you will see Kenya mein with black people they've shot. They've shot it in South America with Argentinians and those kind of people. So this is, it's not like the guy here sitting, the brand manager, is making many of the decisions. Most of it is automated. Okay, so that is another reason why it is impossible. When I said that it's impossible directly get into marketing. If you go through sales, you would know the kind of information that they're collecting and what all tech that they're using, and maybe learn those things, and through that process enter. But directly getting into brands and marketing is extremely difficult. Okay, so sales, one of my, again, you know, I would not say I really love sales, but yeah, it's okay, it's good. Very interesting. I'll tell you why interesting. This particular story that I'm going to talk about now is how I got offered job in one of the biggest, which is HUL, and was selected practically without an interview. Yes, I did not have an interview for HUL. It was a 5-minute discussion wherein the manager was like, "Ye wala position hai, ye kaam hai, karna chahoge kya?" How did that happen? Okay, so for the first year students, please listen in. Okay, you need to find yourself an internship. Don't wait for the college. You can apply yourself. How? We'll tell you. Right? In my first year in the internship, I worked with HUL. Okay, free internship. Kirti ma'am, who was the TPO, sent me to the HUL office. She said, "You go to the HUL office. This is the guy. You meet the guy. If he likes you, you get an internship." So I go there. I meet the guy. He says that, you know, you will not get paid for this. It is 3 months. We will not pay you anything, neither travel or nothing.
I think Ankit got disconnected. Yeah, he has come back.
Sorry, I got disconnected. Something
Yeah.
happened to the internet.
Right.
So I was talking about of how that happened. Okay, so no money, nothing. I said, fine. I mean, if I get to do good projects, why not? Eventually, I started working. I did crazy amounts of legwork. Did 3 projects with them. The first was a very boring project in terms of they said that niche tea bags. Okay, so if you see Taj Mahal tea bags, the cheap ones of Taj Mahal and Taza are the ones that sell a lot, but the expensive ones, which are like, when I say expensive, it's 5.5 rupees, but trust me, in that market, it's very expensive. So we wanted to see what's happening in the niche in the market. He wanted to understand why can't we sell as much as the competitor brands in this segment. So we did that project. I took 1 month, gave him that information, did a detailed study. How do you do that? Please YouTube. Or maybe we can do a session later. How do we do this kind of research? He was so impressed, he gave me 2 more projects. And these projects were extremely interesting. One of them was, at that time, HUL was thinking of getting its own brand of health drink, right? Something like a Boost, Maltova. Maltova was in fact one of their products earlier, but got discontinued. Eventually, it did not work out. In fact, my study had suggested at the time that it will not work out. And he had at the time mentioned, the manager that I was speaking with, I'll tell you his designation when we go to that slide of what are the hierarchies that are in play. And he had in fact said at that time that is such a Horlicks kharid lete hain. And that is what eventually happened. HUL bought Horlicks. Another project we did wherein we were to place coffee which is not considered a health product in pharmacies, right? These 3 projects, it was going great. I was, trust me, one of you. I really wanted to get into brand management and co-marketing. I was offered a job during the internship. Okay, if you for following the introduction that Bobby ma'am gave, I went to CII first and then HUL. So if I did an internship, why did I go do that CII in between? Is because when they offered me a job, he said, it's sales, and you need to do sales for 3 years. Only then there is some chance of going into marketing and whatever. And I was like, no, I don't want to get into sales. I want to get into co-marketing, and I rejected the HUL job offer. Eventually, he had, so I remember the day really well. He told me that, Ankit, if you ever want to take up this option, give me a call. I worked with CII for a year, and I was like, okay, I think I know better now. Let me just go back. I made a call. We met for 5 minutes, and I started working with HUL. So what do you learn from here? See, if you see the detail at which we are talking about things here, in terms of marketing, in terms of people, it is extremely important to be critical. It is extremely important to have a very good work ethic. Okay, you need to put in those hours. There is no other replacement for that. Sales. Okay. So what all information do you need? Coming to the point. Now, this till now, it was most of the information. So till now was more about marketing and stories and trying to make you understand what's happening in the market. Now let's understand what's actually happening in an organization, in a sales team. What is happening in that company? Okay, so you need to understand what's the sales structure. How is the supply going? What is it like? How does a big company like HUL sell? Because once you understand the model of HUL, you understand the model of any and every other company, right? You need to understand positional hierarchies. Why is positional hierarchies important? Because you need to get in touch with these people. They are the people who will give you jobs. So which position or which person to actually try to get in touch with will really make a difference. And how to find where Sambit comes in how to start looking. So let's look at the supply structure of how it works. Okay, if you see this diagram, on the left is a horrible brand of.
Ankit, I think you might want to share your screen. Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
I'm so sorry. Yes. Okay. So the supply structure. On the left, you see the very horrible image I picked up for the HUL brand. I could have done a better job since they paid me for almost 4 years, and literally today, I mean, whatever I know about all this is because of HUL. But anyway, so what is happening here? Okay, HUL produces. Okay, let's forget about what's happening in the manufacturing, and you might have heard of just-in-time model and those kind of things, although they use the JIT model. So one of the things that you might have learned a lot in class, you can use it. The manufacturer or from the factory, it goes to a CNF or a carry and forward agent. What is a carry and forward agent? These are the people from the factories. Everything goes to a CNF. Okay, so every state, depending on its size, has 1 or 2 or 3 carry and forward agents. Okay, if there are bigger towns, for example, a Chhattisgarh only has 1 carry and forward agent. A Maharashtra, on the contrary, would have a carry and forward agent in Nagpur, would have 1 in Mumbai, would have 1. It has 2, Nagpur and Mumbai. Then if you see up north, so Delhi would have 1. Punjab would have 1. So these are carry and forward agents which get the stock from the factories. They have to have trucks, and from these trucks, then all the distributors. So the distributors who distributes the product, carry and forward agents take it from the factories and give it to the distributors. Who are the distributors? Either the regular distributors who are distributing to your retail shops, or to, you know, modern trade, your Big Bazaar and everybody. Army Canteen, wherein, you know, Army Canteen is a huge business. It's called the CSD department, wherein you are giving to the Army Canteen, and they are doing the rest of everything. They are doing it themselves. Government cooperatives. Government cooperatives is also a huge business, wherein the cooperatives themselves purchase products directly from the company and sell it in their cooperative stores, which you can find in places like SAIL or Coal India and those kind of places. So the so the distributor orders their stock from the carry and forward agent, who then, I mean, roughly a carry and forward agent makes around 2 to 3% of the whole revenue. Revenues are insane though. So for example, Chhattisgarh, a city like Raipur, the daily sales is roughly an average of 5 to 6 crores daily. Okay, that is how much it is being consumed there. So carry and forward agent becomes really important. These distributors have huge orders. Somebody was talking about, I think it was Rahul talking about surf, right? So yes, I mean, when I said that surf is not popular, I mean, they make more money from live, but it does not mean that surf is not popular. You know, trucks and trucks of surf is being ordered by these distributors. These distributors ideally make around 5 to 10%, in some cases 15% of the total you know, price of the product. So let's take it as MRP. Let's not get into details of the pricing, but just try and understand. It makes 5 to 10%. After costs would end up making 1 or 2% maximum. Then the distributors sell it to the wholesalers, the retail stores, or the modern trade stores. Now what we need to, and then finally the consumer buys it from these stores. Now, one thing that you need to know, very important, is primary sales and secondary sales, right? I hope most of you know it, but if you don't, primary sales is the sale HUL is making to the distributors, Army Canteens and cooperatives. So carry and forward agent, they will just send the stock to the carry and forward agent for free. They are not charging the carry and forward agent. In fact, they're paying them money for the, you know, the transportation and everything. The distributors in the Army Canteens and all those people are directly paying HUL, right? So the sale that HUL makes to these distributors or the distributing channel is called the primary sale. So there are two targets that a sales personnel has. One is a primary target and one is a secondary target. Primary target is how much I can make the distributor purchase in a given month, and secondary is how much I can actually sell to retailers and modern trade and, you know, wholesalers and those kind of people. Okay, so you will have in a sales role, these are the things that if you're talking this language, it will be very easy for you to crack an interview. And although this is a what do you say, structure of you know, FMCG, but you will see that sales has similar structures in other sectors as well. But FMCG is I mean, it's the hottest job when it comes to sales as of now in the traditional sales job scenes, right? So you need to know primary sales, secondary sales. You need to know CNF or carry and forward agent. You need to know distributors. You need to know retailers, right? Let's park your questions if you have in terms of the supply structure. We'll take it in the next in the Q&A session. Now, positional hierarchy. It is extremely important to understand the positional hierarchy, because these are the people that you need to get in touch with for the jobs. The HR does not do the hiring. It is ideally the area sales manager. Okay, so let's talk about how the hierarchies work. There's a general manager sales. He heads sales for you know, one line of product. So for example, there are various divisions that are there. In terms of, for example, ice cream is one division, foods is another division, you know, brand specific divisions are there. For example, anything that is selling to normal retailers is one division, okay, which is called general trade. Anything that is selling to modern trade is another division. anything that is selling out of home, means any product of HUL that you are consuming outside your home, right? Wherein you are having tea, coffee at restaurants or railway stations or airports, is the out of home division. They will have their own general manager. Okay, so at the head sits the general manager for his entire category. Then there are regional managers. So there are 4 regions: North, East, West, South. There's also a central region in Unilever, since it's a huge geography that they cover. And one of the big reasons for their success is that beautiful supply chain management. One of the most successful supply chain management that there is in the world in terms of FMCG. To the regional managers then report area sales managers. So usually they head states. Okay, so a regional manager, say, would head north or would head west. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Ankit, I would like to make it wrap up, because we are having limited time, and I can find that many students have started leaving. I would request students to take the full advantage of this session and not to leave the session. Okay.
Okay.
And Ankit, I would also suggest you to fast, because
I would need 5 minutes, 5 more minutes. Then there are area sales managers.
And then we can have the question answer session also.
Yeah. I'll just need 5 minutes. So very quickly, area sales managers head states. Okay. Then there are sales executives who basically head areas. Okay. So for example, Maharashtra is a state, Vidarbha is an area. Okay, they will head a few towns. Like for example, when I was working in West Rajasthan, I was in Jodhpur. So I used to take care of Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Badmer, and that whole West Rajasthan region. That was my region there. Then there are territory sales in charges. All the freshers, this is what you need to look for. TSI, or territory sales in charge. This is basically where you will be hired. If you do well here, you can within 1.5 to 2 years move to sales executive. Then from sales executive, it takes around 2 years to move to area sales managers. But it's this area sales manager which will actually give you a job, who will actually give you a job. Then under TSIs are third party employees or salesmen. Okay, this is the basic positional hierarchy. Now, how to start looking for a job? Number 1, job portals. There are so many job portals. Please register to each and every one of them, because first thing that you need to understand is where is an opening. Okay, you need to know where there is an opening in a position, and then you need to use LinkedIn to approach those people. So say for example, on a job portal, you find out that there is a job opening for a TSI for Marico, which does a lot of biscuits and those kind of things. There's a TSI opening in Calcutta. So then how do I look for that person? So Sambit, if you can jump in. So Sambit is the expert in terms of LinkedIn. He will tell you how do you find a person on LinkedIn. Okay. Some of you might know it, but I think Sambit, if you can very quickly take us through that, please.
Yeah, if you can, I just stop sharing the screen, then I'll be.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. So the thing that Ankit was talking about was that you need to look for territory sales in charge. I suppose that is the thing, right, Ankit?
Bang on, yes.
Okay, so in LinkedIn, right at the very top, you have this jobs section. You go there, and then you can type in a designation that you're looking for. And then you can
Sambit, we can't see your screen.
Oh. Yes, Sambit, we can't see your screen.
Okay, hold on. I'm really sorry. Okay. Okay, I suppose I'm up now.
Yeah.
Right. So this is my LinkedIn homepage. At the very top, beside the search bar here, I have this job section. What I do here is I type in a designation. And then I type in a location that I'm looking for. For this example, I'm going to take Kolkata. And then what happens is, like, you get a few options here. And what you need to do here is like you go to the job and then you go to the company that's posting the job. And from here, what you do is like you go to all employees. And from here, you take in like you apply filters here, which is basically this. So you look for a current location. And then you sort of give in. So Ankit, what was the designation that actually is responsible for hiring people?
Area sales manager.
Area sales manager.
Area sales manager.
Okay. Let's see if we can do anything else. No. Okay. So it'll throw up some results, and what you need to do here is you basically explore these results that you have in front of you, and then you send them LinkedIn invites. And the thing to remember here is that once they connect with you, you send them a message. Wherein, I guess, Ankit, we have talked about this, where what kind of message you want to be sent so that they can, they can respond to it and accept your.
So yeah, the idea behind that is number one, see, in terms of salespeople will usually have their numbers, okay, on their contact info, okay. So once you connect, if you have the number, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call them directly. Vis-a-vis, you can also send them a message saying that, hey, I am so and so from such and such college, and I'm looking for an opportunity to become a TSI, and I really think I can do well. Can you help me out? Right? I think I would say that try and call them. If you find their number, most of their numbers would be visible. So I think I wish we had more time, but I think the idea behind here is, so I want to tell you something about sales, okay, or about marketing as well. In order to actually get business, or in order for you to actually land such interviews, it takes time. So for example, in my current organization where I'm doing enterprise level sales, enterprise software sales, so there's a 2% conversion from a cold lead to a warm lead. So if I contact, say, my team contacts 100 people, there are only 2 people who actually come onto the table and actually listen what we have to say. From those 2%, then our 2% is what converts actually, right? So 2% of the people we try to get in touch with, 2% are who actually, talk to us. Out of those 2% are only 2% who gets converted. So for every 10,000, that is 10,000 would be around 200, and so for thousands we have to do for just one conversion. So you need to take that in account. Just like you, there are a lot of people looking for this job as well, right? But not many people are doing what we have just spoken about today. Not many people are actually connecting to these area sales managers who are actually responsible. There are thousands of area sales managers in our country. Start connecting with them, start sending them, start calling them, start sending them these messages. Some of them, most of them are really nice and would want to help you if you fit their bill. But how would you fit their bill is if you would actually, if you would actually learn the things that we spoke about today, try and explore about these hierarchies that we spoke about today. Most importantly, a lot of you said that, engagement or networking is really good. Yes, but please network genuinely. Okay, most of the places, me getting into HUL, me starting my first job, I was a script writer, and then I went to launch a product. To my current job, it has all happened because of people. But I have genuine relationships with those people. Okay, so be genuine about it. Okay, don't just do it for the heck of networking. Otherwise, don't do it. If you aren't really, if you aren't really uh, in for a relationship wherein you guys can actually work in the future, don't do it, right? So engage genuinely. I have given you a lot of information that you can talk about with people, right? Use this information, explore more. Edward Bernays, for example, is a universe. He has done a universe of things. I have set you up for the next 1,000 conversations. Resilience, you have to practice resilience and perseverance. It's okay to get rejected. I get rejected 98% times every day, and that is the game, in sales and marketing. Do you think that a successful brand manager just comes up with something new? No, he tries 100 times, and then probably just once it works, and that one that it works, he just keeps on going with it. You have to be critical about things. Okay, start reading. You need to understand that this is not a layman's business. Okay, none of the jobs are. You need to read about these things, get into the depth of it, and ultimately you need to believe in yourself. I mean, I wanted to take you guys through an activity which can demonstrate what I'm talking about, but I think we're short of time, and I think we need to move into Q&A. So let's start the Q&A. I think we don't have much time. So I've opened the floor for questions. Anybody who has a question, please.
First of all, Ankit, I would like to thank you for sharing with us the ideas of Edward Bernays, the idea of freedom, the idea of consumerism, how the sales could be increased by touching the unconscious desire of the mass, and very rightly pointing out that it is just not possible to join or to excel in marketing without having sales background. That's very, very true. And I would like to thank you, Samrit, also for sharing his ideas on how to pitch in to the various corporate leaders and people, especially the area manager, regional manager, for the networking to get placements or networking to get summer internship. Now, is there any questions in the chat box? We have to see whether we have got any questions in the chat box. Do you have any questions in the chat box?
Ma'am, can I just ask
Ankit,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Please carry on.
Yes, sir. Sir, I actually wanted to ask you, for example, a company has a product which is actually a better product than its competitor, which is having a similar product in the segment, in that particular segment, and also comes up with a very counter USP, which actually pinpoints the problems that the existing product is not solving. So, is it enough for that product to prosper or gain the market share? Or does the brand image play an important part?
The thing is, that question without a lot of reference is very difficult to answer, because you don't know what can work and what cannot work.
Sir, I can give you a reference.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I would like to give you the reference of Savlon versus Dettol. When Savlon came in 1993, at that time, Dettol was the existing market player in the market, in the antiseptic liquid segment. And it was there for the last 50, 60 years. But the thing with Dettol was it didn't have that added advantage of fragrance. And also it used to hurt while you used to apply Dettol. And it was not 100% clinically proven that it's effective against fighting germs. But when Johnson & Johnson, they came up with Savlon in 1993, they actually came up with a USP that it heals without hurting, which is where Dettol faltered. And also it came up with a fragrance, the added advantage of a fragrance.
I'll give you a short answer. Okay, that is not the only reason. Okay, the reason why Savlon actually did well is because you cannot sell Dettol at a regular store. You can only sell it at a pharmacy. However, you can sell a Savlon at any store because the composition of Savlon is such that it can be sold in retail stores. Dettol does not have that, which is one of the biggest reasons. Yes, there are other reasons, but this hands down in the case of Savlon versus Dettol, Savlon hands down wins because of this. Because Savlon can be sold in regular stores. Yes, they did good branding and everything, but then I think the main thing is the reach. HUL, like I spoke about the supply chain, they are able to reach so many people. That's why they are able to sell. So in this example, Savlon hands down wins because they can reach more people. And then yes, the campaign helps a little as well, but it's not just the campaign. In fact,
Sir, but the reverse thing happened. Actually, they failed to conquer the market, sir, because they came up with a counter USP that it's important to hurt, or it's normal to hurt while you are healing. So they came up with a counter USP against the USP of Savlon, and they actually failed to compete against Dettol, and still Dettol is the leading antiseptic liquid.
which is okay, but then see, there are certain times you have to see, like for example, coffee. Okay, which brand do you think is the biggest coffee brand in India?
Nescafe.
It's not. So the brand value of Nestle might be more, but the revenue of Brew is much more. Okay, because Nestle is being consumed more in the north, but Brew is being consumed more in the south, where there are actually coffee drinkers. So although our perception would be that Nescafe is a bigger coffee brand, it is clearly not. Like Brew does twice more revenue than Nestle. So totally, I mean, do you think that, I mean, just these things change the sales of a product? Not really. There are a lot of other factors. That is why I spoke of criticality. You need to go in and understand what all is happening. For example, even in the case of Savlon and Dettol, I don't know the numbers exactly, but I would not be surprised, although yes, Dettol is very old, I would not be surprised if I see that they're doing similar revenue or better than Dettol. Similarly, in the case of the coffee example that I gave you. So you need to be in the game. You're in touch with the ASMs and these kind of people. They'll give you these numbers, which otherwise is very difficult to get.
Yeah, so Savlon has entered the 1,000 crore valuation recently. So
they're doing well, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it'll do much better if they do better marketing, I feel. But yeah,
sir, they have gone into brand extension and they have introduced various new products, because of which they have garnered the market share.
Right. Yeah, well, hope for the best for them. Thank you, Rahul. Next question. Anybody?
Yeah, Ankit, let me tell you, Rahul has got an offer from ITC.
Oh,
recently. He will be joining ITC very soon.
Brilliant. Great. Congratulations, Rahul. The first stint will be a little difficult, get through it. The rural stint, I'm sure the ITC is putting in. Yeah. But, get through it. Anybody who gets through it does really well.
Right.
And please reach out to me if you want any help, how do you start and everything. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And don't call me sir. Just please call me Ankit, all of you. Yeah.
Okay, any next question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Call me. Hi, this is Ankit. Please call me.
Hi. Yeah. Yes, sure. So I'm a fresher and I'm a first year student. So as you said that you should be applying in LinkedIn and where for territory sales in charge. So can you give some idea like in which brands or companies we should look forward to, because I don't have much idea about it.
So Paulami, right now you are a fresher. Your first thing should be to try and apply for an internship, right?
Yes, I think, sure.
So have you, or do you already have an internship?
No, I don't have.
Okay.
So that's why I need some help.
Exactly. There are a lot of portals that are there for internship as well. In terms of companies, try and identify a sector you want to work in. Okay. So for example, you want to work in FMCG. FMCG, although does not have a lot of internships, but again, using the same model wherein you can say, okay, what all are the FMCG brands in India? Okay. Then you go to LinkedIn and just get in touch with the ASMs who are there working for these brands, and you ask them for internships, because an ASM can actually give you an internship letter, so ideally HUL internships only are given to IIMs and those kind of Ivy League schools. However, if you can get in touch with an ASM, which Kirti ma'am did for me when I was in Heritage, you can get an internship directly, wherein the ASM can decide कि हाँ चलो 2 लोग रख लेते हैं. They will not pay you, but then you get to work with HUL for a few months, and that is how I got my inroad. I'm not like a very crazy good student, and that's how I got through. I just worked, I learned, and made sure that I slogged, gave him what he wanted, all the information that he wanted, and I got through. So focus on your internship. There are anybody all of you, if you are facing any issues, feel free to reach out to me, or Sambit will share our details that with Bobby ma'am, which he can share with you, or I can just share my email ID and number and things here. Get in touch with us. We'll see how we can help you out. I wish we had more time. I wish I could tell. There's so much more that I want to tell you, because in terms of sales or getting internships, there are other fields as well. I just spoke about FMCG, but there are new emerging markets coming up which you can try for. So let's see. I think if we can do that in the future, but then as of now, please concentrate on your internship.
Yeah, sir. Like, I took up marketing as a major now, so that's why I was asking like which fields I could try out. This session has been really very interesting, because because you spoke mainly about the marketing things and sales and how it is linked with each other.
Right. Thank you so much. So I think great. In terms of the companies, I told you how to look for it. Look for a good internship. You can try enterprise software sales. For everybody who's listening, look up enterprise software sales, which is what I do now. Trust me, this is the future. This is what all the sales and marketing people are going to sell in the future. Okay, so we can probably have a session for this. The most valued the most valued sales job in the world right now, the most money is earned by people who are doing enterprise software sales. Okay, so it is already I think it's a $50 trillion market already. But the segment that I'm working in, which is the learning platform segment, is going to be $30 trillion by 2030, which is not even 1 trillion now. So that's, it's growing like 30-40 folds in the next 10 years. So enterprise software sales, all of you, please look into it. There are great jobs. Not many people who are doing it. I think you can do really well there as well. Try and explore that. And if you have any questions regarding to that, feel free to reach out.
So actually, I'm from Shillong, and now currently I'm staying here only. So as you talk about internship, here we don't have quite a number of internship opportunities, and I don't know when I'll be visiting Kolkata again. So is online? Should I go for online then, sir? I mean, what's the use?
What else is the option, Vishaka? There is.
No, I mean, is it effective? Is it effective, sir?
It's not about being effective. Okay, everybody has gone online. So the company I work for does digital transformation. Okay, now before this, trust me, the 2% conversion I was talking about is a really good number. It used to be very pathetic before that, because nobody wanted to get digital transformation. Yet here we are on a Zoom call, on a Google Meet call, taking lectures which would have never done before. So all the internships these days, most of the internships are actually happening digitally. Right, so even in my company, the interns that are coming in, all of us are just working digitally. So that is the only way, ideally. So try and apply for internships, and there is a 99% chance that the internship that you get will be digital, will happen digitally, and it works. I mean, see, ideally the work ethic in India is not really very good. That is why people used to emphasize on कि office से काम करवाते हैं लोगों को. But then we need to, if we are a growing economy, right? A developed country would be a country where people have very good work ethics. Look at China, look at Japan. These people, you know why they're doing well? Because they are insanely awesome in their work ethics. Or in Europe, for example, if you are working in Europe, if your manager wants to talk to you at 15 minutes to 5 p.m., the manager will request you, because you are not supposed to stay even 1 minute after 5 p.m. So when I talk about resilience and perseverance, work ethic is also important. So all of you, in fact, please try and work on your work ethic. even if you're working digitally, put in those hours, because that is the only thing that can help you succeed, nothing else. You need to put in those 8 hours. So for your question, Vishakha, the short answer is yes, go for digital. That's the new thing, you know, that's how it's going to be now.
And Vishakha, I would like to tell, Vishakha, I would like to tell that your summer internship will start only after your second semester is over, right? And by that time, we hope that everything will get back to normal. Yeah, because you're in the first semester now, so by that time, we hope that everything will get back to normal. Otherwise, we have to go for digital things only, online, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other question, please? Ankit, I have got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I just want to know, because you were doing so well in Hindustan Unilever. So what made you to change your company from Hindustan Unilever to Advanta Technologies?
I was hoping that this question comes up. So I was doing really well. I mean, I couldn't have done better. I wanted to get into brands, like I had, you know, always. I mean, from first year, I've been telling you, I want to get into core marketing.
Yeah.
So the thing was that once I got into West Rajasthan, this was the worst project that anybody could have taken up in HUL, because the brand had failed twice, in 95 and 2006 in West Rajasthan. Quality Walls had failed. And yet, you know, I took up the project and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And then from there, I'll move to the core marketing team, because I mean, I'll give them results which have never been seen before in this area. And although I did sales, I did a lot of core marketing. But then while doing this, I realized that, you know, the on-ground impact. So since I was able to do it, I was able to do almost $1 million. I wanted to do $1 million, but then they did not give me enough ice cream to sell. But so I realized that, you know, I'm good at this, but the on-ground impact of my work is not really something that I desire. I want that the impact is better. So then, while I was traveling, I was backpacking in Uttarakhand. I met this guy, Naveen Datta, who is the CTO and CSO of Advanta Technologies. The idea behind Advanta, which is a very small company in the niche, although we have really huge clients, Ministry of Education, Saudi Arabia, and these kind of people, but it is very much in the niche. And the idea here is to create learning technology that is eventually going to bring in a cognitive revolution. So the work that I'm doing now, or the stuff that I'm selling now, I really believe in it. I really believe that, you know, this technology can actually change how corporate training or how offline learning actually happens. So that's why I thought, okay, I can have more impact here. And so I chose to, and all I have to do here is to expand. Advanta was expanding in India, so they were like, you have done it in the past, help us expand in India. So that's why I joined Advanta. But I would really love to take this enterprise software sales sessions and actually talk about tech.
Okay. I'm sure you will also excel in this field. Definitely, you will excel in this field also.
Thanks. Ultimately, it's selling, ma'am. It's marketing. I mean, just the product has changed. I mean, I used to sell ice cream before, and now I'm selling technology. That's one of the running jokes that I have with all my clients.
Exactly. If we don't have any question, in that case, we will wrap up here. We will request Mr. Ayush Gupta, student from second year, to offer the vote of thanks. Ayush, please.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, everybody, and greetings to all respected dignitaries, honorable speaker of the day, Mr. Ankit Mazumdar, my faculty members, and my batchmates and my fellow junior mates. So, I, Ayush Gupta of the second year of the Heritage Business School, I'm honored to propose the vote of thanks. And on the outset, I would like to thank Mr. Ankit Mazumdar for giving us a lucid and an eye-opening presentation that was quite enriching, and it was quite knowledgeable as well as in the same time. So, sir, I'm very thankful to you. Since you had briefed us on on Sigmund Freud and his nephew Edward Bernays, we are very thankful to you. And last but not the least, is also thank you to Mrs. Bobby Basu. Thank you, ma'am, for coordinating the whole program. Thank you, Namrata, ma'am, and thank you to all my fellow batchmates and juniors. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ayush.